Hello, gentle viewers. This is Av Guardian welcoming you back to Out of the Park Baseball 23 with the Pittsburgh Pirates. In our previous episode, we went ahead and went through our off season, and it was a pretty quiet off season. Let's be perfectly honest. We take a look at our lineup. This looks a lot like last year's lineup. That's because it is. The biggest change is the return of Mike Iglesias to being a full-time designated hitter. So we're hopeful that he returns with some level of his former talent. Pitching is, again, almost identical. Thankfully, we did bring back Ty Sims. He actually opted out early, but we were able to get him back for a nice chunk of change. And the bullpen is more or less the same. We didn't really make a whole lot of moves. But what we're banking on right now is that the team cannot be as bad as it was last season. To that end, the one thing that is changing is that Mike Soto is getting a much bigger role. Mike Soto is going to be starting every day against left-handed pitching, and he's going to be spelling Manny Pozo in third base quite regularly. So that is one thing to consider. In addition, we saw a very potent bullpen without too much change. Most importantly, we were able to keep Joe Campton as a reliever, where I think he's just the better choice. And we're letting Andres Carrillo be our starter. Now, we did make one addition of Mr. Jesus Calderon, who promptly got hurt during spring training. But if he returns at anything like his former level, I think we'll have a nice upgrade there. So, largely the exact same lineup, just with we did replace Mario Avila for Mario Servin. He's a little bit better as a hitter, but most importantly, he's just a little bit better catcher. And he's a captain too, so we don't lose anything from a chemistry standpoint. I need to add Andres Ariano to the 40-man, as he's going to be our lefty killer, at least for now. We're hoping he develops quite quickly. If he doesn't, he's only a 10th round draft pick. I'm sure we can find somebody else at some point. So, this is going to be an interesting season. It's going to be interesting for a couple of reasons. First and foremost, this is our last season with Anthony Jones, unless we choose to bring him back as a free agent, which I don't know that I would. I would take a quick peek at his contract demands. He wants to be paid basically what he's being paid now. But he's already 30. And he's already a guy who derives most of his value from his defense. He's a below-league average hitter. He's not like Miles Straw in real life, but he's just there. He exists and he plays baseball. And that's all I can really say about him that's positive. So that's not ideal. But on the flip side, I don't really have a ready replacement. John Navio isn't a center fielder. He's a corner outfielder pretending to be a center fielder. Homero Spineo is kind of a center fielder. So if we get another good season out of him in AAA, he might end up winning the job just by default. We do have Ernesto Turner and Esteban Stoval. The other thing to consider, actually, is if Mike Iglesias doesn't come back at a fairly high level, we might try to trade him. But I don't know that yet. We're going to have to sit tight. So a lot of the season's success is going to be based on two propositions. One, that Mike Soto can be a good regular contributor. And two, that Mr. Mike Iglesias can come back at some level of his former talent. We also have a bit of a third risk, though. Hi, Manny Pozo. We're kind of hoping he's got enough left in the tank to get us through one more season. But I don't know that for certain yet. So we're going to have to hope that he can bring something of what he used to be. Otherwise, he's gone. I can't afford to keep him forever purely for old time's sake. A surprising amount is riding on the shoulders of Mr. Almaguer. He does have the potential to be a 300 hitter with enough doubles to make the rest of his game work. But we are going to have to find a guaranteed role for him. But I am fairly confident that he will be a high-level player. So, there is one additional question we need to ask ourselves. What do we do with Sean Hill? And this requires us to take a long, hard look at what Sean Hill does do and what Sean Hill doesn't do. Sean Hill is a high-discipline, medium-power hitter with pretty good speed and a reasonably good glove at first base. He's really, really good at getting on base, even in his worst seasons. However, if he isn't hitting 30 home runs, a lot of his value dips a little bit. And it is worth noting the fact he is already 28. At his current level of production, $10 million is a steal. But he's not going to want $10 million forever. He's going to want a lot more than that. Even at $20 million, if he's producing at a 5-6 win level, I don't necessarily mind that. But his skill set is such that if his batting average dips, and especially if his power dips like it did in 2058, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. And so, one thing we may have to consider is finding a new first baseman. Whether that's teaching John Navio to play first, whether it's something else, I don't know. But that is an important question we're going to have to deal with sooner or later. So, all that being said, let's go ahead and play some baseball games and let's see how the early part of the season begins to shake out. Before we make any drastic moves or any serious trades or anything like that. I guess this has some up to opening day. I don't know why it's not before opening day last episode. Just me being weird, I guess. We may be getting to the point where we might have to pause and actually take a season to reload. I'm not convinced we're there yet, but I am convinced that we're there very closely. A lot's going to depend on what we end up doing with Hill. Ty Sims loses some of his capabilities. Another reason why we're a bit on the older side. Okay, let us go ahead and move forward. I have the number one prospect in Major League Baseball. Holy shit. I mean, he's a really good player, so I'm not hugely surprised, but he's also very, very toolsy. Almost too toolsy. I'm concerned about his ultimate future with us, but I'm still happy to see what happens there. Okay, that is bad. It's not the worst thing that could have happened. I do have some talented players that can fill some of his shoes. But Henry Salgado is the engine that makes the rest of this team work. Probably Ernesto Turner has the best chance to approximate Salgado's value. So we're gonna try him out. And see what happens. I don't know, man. 6 to 7 weeks for a sprained ankle seems kind of sus, but whatever. I can have Tony Osorio back. He is a much better pitcher than Ariano, so Ariano can instantly go to the minors. And Osorio comes back to be our lefty killer. Okay, another serious injury. This isn't, again, it's not the end of the world, but it does concern me because I was kind of hoping to let Jesus Calderon replace Carrillo. Now he's going to have to replace Jesus Solano. So that's kind of gross. But that's what has to happen sometimes, I guess. So Calderon is going to slot right in there. I really don't want to activate Camp if I don't have to, but I will if I need to. 300 homers from Mike Iglesias. Very nice. Very nice indeed. Oh, you know what I didn't do? No, I did call up replacement. Ernesto Turner was the roster replacement. Never mind. Keep going. What is Joe Jose Brown PMing me about? Oh, his contract is up. I gotta tell you, he hasn't started losing major velocity yet. So even bringing him back for 1 year is pretty solid, actually. Tell you what, give me a team option and take away the no trade clause. And I will give you this deal. Happily. Because the thing is, I don't really have a ton of great starting pitching talents, so there's going to be a little bit of concern there. Man, Jose Brown has been quite the pitcher for us. He's been a Pirate now for 10 years, and he has been very productive. Is he Hall of Fame worthy? Not remotely. But he has been an incredibly useful starter year in and year out, and that is a very good thing. That is a very good thing. I'm probably getting close to thin ice, in all honesty, because I had won a World Series. Actually, I won one 2 seasons ago, but still. I'm also not saving as much money as they probably would prefer. So that's going to be a bit of an issue for people, too. Really, Calderon? You fucking moron. Really? Oh my god, you are just the stupidest. And I don't have an actual starting pitcher to trust, so that's going to be real awkward. Real fast. Calderon, I would like to punch you right in the throat. Give you a good talking to. I am over the moon that we can have Salrada back, and for right now, I do like him better than Xavier Goodwin. Let's go ahead and send Mr. Goodwin to the minors and call up Salrada. And you can be the new emergency starter along reliever. Henry Salgado will be back soon, and that's obviously excellent news. Hopefully he comes back and doesn't miss too many beats. Oh, that is pretty good news, actually. It's not perfect news, but I hit next year by accident. Whoopsie doodle. It should stop me anyway because of the player thing. Ale's top players, Musial of Chicago. What the fuck? Have we hopped in like a time machine? I won't stand Musial on our team. I didn't know that was an option. So far so good here. Ryan Green is getting marginally better. Interesting, okay. So here's my issue. Darius Boone plays a bunch of positions somewhat well. There's value in that. By itself, it's whatever. Jesus Portillo is, again, cromulent. I'd like to get a little bit more, but otherwise, I don't hate this deal. But I would like to try to get at least one interesting prospect. Jerry Baxter. I'm joking. You'd never give me Jerry Baxter. And also, I don't actually want him, but... Is there an interesting prospect to be had here? Not really. Yeah, I'm not that convinced this helps us, and if people want Rebellar, I'd rather trade him for something I do want. What is available in the center field department? Jim Coggins is just Anthony Jones, but making somehow even more money. So nothing here really does it for me. Who is the best possible prospect I could acquire? A first baseman, who's admittedly a fairly decent hitter. I'm just going to take the Cubs offer. It's better to get 2 somethings than 1 something. So I'm happy with that deal. For now, anyway. So, it is June 1st. We're just waiting for Solano and Salgado to get back from their stays on the injured list. How do things look so far? Sean Hill is an absolute train wreck. This is the problem with Sean Hill. He doesn't have a very strong hit tool, and he's not hitting as well as he possibly can. A lot of his value is significantly less. It's not enough to replace him. He's still a pretty good on-base machine, and I can't assume he'll hit 200 over the course of a season. That's just not like him. But he's got to hit more if we're going to be a successful team. His BABIP is like in the toilet, so I bet this is part of the issue. Like, lefties are just owning him. I don't really care, though. The problem is he's not hitting righties as hard as he has traditionally. So hopefully he can figure that out relatively soon. Manny Pozo is okay. Like, I don't hate it, but I don't think it's enough either. Ernesto Turner is cromulent. He's definitely got power. That's definitely appreciated. But none of our top hitters are really hitting that well, other than Jordan Munoz, who's frankly killing it. And most importantly, Mike Iglesias has returned to basically his old self. He's maybe not hitting as for as much contact, but the power is there, the on base is there. Mike Iglesias has turned around and acted as a great player. Almaguer and Jones are good. Joe, not as good. Huamani is here. How is Mike Soto? Mike Soto is frankly crushing it in limited playing time. The trouble with kicking Pozo out of the lineup is that then I don't have a replacement for Soto. Because they'll move over to third base full time, right? Interesting. Pitching-wise, Calderon and Carrillo are both really struggling. The bullpen is doing pretty good for the most part. I kind of do Fisher cut bait with Carrillo. In the bullpen, he can be productive. In the rotation, he's mostly been a disaster. Mostly because he can't stop walking people. He's a number 5 starter. I'm not that annoyed, but we are a team that's going to have to get pretty good pitching until the lineup sorts itself out. Which I think it might, but if Carrillo doesn't come back, because when Solano comes back, Carrillo's losing his job. He's going to go back to the bullpen or maybe even get traded. I haven't decided which yet. Anthony Jones is doing the one thing I was hoping he wouldn't. He's playing out of his mind. And now his contract demands are going up. The question is it worth the risk of overpaying for mediocrity? Because let's face it here, he has been a useful player the entire time I've had him. He's been a useful guy. But he has never reached all-star levels until this year, and I frankly don't think it's going to stick. But someone had to pick up the slack while Pozo, and in particular Hill and Turner. So, okay. Getting Salgado back will be a huge shot in the arm. Giant shot in the arm. It's going to kick everything else off in a realistic way. And I love that. But we're going to have to come to grips with Manny Pozo probably in July. We're going to have to make a final decision. Is this good enough? He is almost league average as a hitter. He's not a brilliant third baseman, but 4 errors in 50 games I can live with. He's not a number 2 hitter, but he's not a bad hitter either. And so even if we get a bit of a dead cat bounce, I'm okay with that. So let's go ahead and keep playing games for now and see where we are in another month's time at the beginning of July. Another $1.4 million to keep Calderon. Yes. That's either low enough to move you if you suck, and it's cheap enough to keep you if you don't. So yes, I will give you one more year at $1.4 million. Just absolute ease of decision making right there. I will probably make an easier decision this season other than bringing Henry Salgado back. The interesting decision here is who I send down. I'm going to trade Brian Williamson. I've got too many good other choices that do something better than he does. So I'm going to trade Brian Williamson for any interesting prospect, and then I'm going to call up Salgado. I could get Danny Devane. This is a fascinating enough talent package that I will go ahead and make this deal. Let's go ahead and pull that trigger. And let us activate the man, the myth, the legend, Henry Salgado. So Salgado instantly jumps right in. No hesitation. And then Turner's going to back up in left field, and Turner's going to be our number 3 hitter here. And then Turner and Turner. Anybody else I want to talk to for a new contract? Pretty much only Calderon, and he's already going to sign a new deal, so that's going to be pretty great. I still don't know what to do with Anthony Jones, so that's going to be a very difficult conversation we're going to need to have at some point. Cool. I don't know the fans secretly loved Calderon, but I'm here for it. Alright, so Carrillo is not going to stay in the rotation. Here's my, no, yes, I'll send down Sal Rada. That's fine. Senor Solano gets thrown into the rotation. Carrillo then becomes emergency starter, long relief. Which I think is honestly his better role. And then we can talk about how to make some upgrades here in a little bit. Let's talk to some coaches. So, our staff is content. It seems like the biggest issue is our GM. So I think we're going to let the assistant GM go. Someone else can sign you if they want. Nathan Lavender has been our pitching coach for a while. He's been reasonably good at it. And he gets along pretty well with people, so I think we're going to go ahead and keep Lavender, although... Interesting. CJ Lessor is actually worth considering as a promotion. I do want to keep Willie Diaz. I think he's a really good team trainer, and if he is somewhat susceptible to leg injuries, the rest of his package is pretty solid. Go ahead and keep all the minor league coaches if you can. 5 of them have not agreed. I definitely want to keep Soto. I have plans for him if things work out the way I hope that they will. Im is a pretty solid hitting coach. I'm cool with keeping him. His name is Butt. That in and of itself is legendary. How do you not sign that man for 1,000 years, honestly? Eric Basabe isn't actually a manager, but until a pitching coach job opens up, I just want to keep him in the fold for right now. So I will offer him an extension if he wants it, which he does. Solomon McGuire is a very fine manager, and I want to keep him in the fold as well so we can upgrade. We can sign a new coach when we need to. So I'm going to let the assistant GM go. That's a no-brainer. The question is, do I keep Nathan Lavender? The benefit of promoting CJ Lessor is presumably we'd have a salutary effect on our thing here. But the thing is that nobody likes normals. Nobody hates normals either, though. They're just, normal. But he is legendary. I'll talk to you again toward the end of the season, Lavender. I'm leaning towards letting you go, but I'm not convinced one way or the other. All we need is Henry Salgado to go nuclear. That's going to be the key to us being a great team in the second half. Not just a good team, like a legitimately great team. It's in between us winning the division potentially and struggling for a playoff spot. So if Mr. Salgado would be so kind as to crush it, then that would be delightful. Alright, I'm going to do something that's going to seem a little bit drastic, but I think it has to be done at this point. Oh, damn, you're really turning out to be quite a fine player. Eyes on the prize. Jose Brown is losing velocity again. That's still not the end of the world. I'm trading Homero Spineo. I don't know what's happened to him, why he just hasn't turned out the way we expected he would. But at this stage in his career, He's an okay defensive center fielder. And that's it. Who might hit some doubles every now and again. I don't think this is gonna. The thing is that Anthony Jones has played really well this season. Henry Salgado has come back and hit quite well. That's excellent news. Damn it, Jones. I really don't want to keep Spineo. On the other hand, I can't afford not to keep him because he's the only player I can trust my system to play center field. So here we are. That is where we are right now. I have a variety of unsatisfactory solutions to my problem. Because John Navia will never be a starting center fielder. He just won't. And he's really struggling in AAA, too. I have no good starting pitching prospects, like not even one. I've got a bunch of top tier hitters that I'm just not sure if they are actually top tier or not. I'm going to have to figure it out at some point. Aguinaga. I do not have a very deep farm system. I would love to get a starting pitcher for Amari Knowles. I can pretty much make my own pick, but I'm not seeing any starters here that really impress me besides Leo Mendoza, and I'm not going to pay a bunch of money for a starter unless they're fairly young. Would have been said I asked about a center fielder. Oh boy, no. You know what? Don't even give me veterans. I'm not going to pay $30 million for a center fielder. I'm looking for a long-term solution, not a short-term one. I'm seeing a lot of players who, if everything breaks right, become Homero Spineo. That's kind of a shitty way to do business, though. Like, I've already got one of those. Maybe I should just go for starting pitching. The best prospect I can get my hands on. Is there guys in the 50s? I like a lot of Lara's game, actually. I'm just not convinced that he's going to work without the movement issues. If he can, he would actually be a pretty solid starting pitcher. You can't throw strikes. That's a problem. Let's start with Lara, and let's see if I can't get another prospect of some intrigue. No, you're still way too young. I really like Jeremiah Rhodes. I'd be prepared to actually give up a reasonably good prospect for him. But not Becerra. Becerra is untouchable. What if I offered you Justin Tufts? Does that move the needle for you? Not even close. Okay. Really? Not even close? Damn. Giving him Navio makes him want to do it. But I don't want to give up Navio if I don't have to. Julian Williams could be special. He's just a long ways away. What if I gave you the Spandar Avishon? No, Avishon might actually be a decent guy someday. I need Jeremiah Rhodes. I need a premium starting pitching prospect, even if I have to pay for it. What about Ryan Green? Alright, Ryan Green does get you to pay attention. Ricky Medina will never be more than a DH. Because I need a premium pitching prospect. I can't afford not to have one at this point. I could also just pay for one like Melvin Campos. I actually do like Campos quite a bit. He's got a good pitch mix. Let's offer him the $5 million. Yeah, I feel good about this. Losing Knowles isn't nothing, but he's so far away from the majors that Medina, same thing. I am giving up value, but I'm getting something of tremendous value as well. Oh, damn. Campos signed instantly. Nice. Jeremiah Rhodes, I would like you to go up to AA. I feel reasonably certain that your timetable should be a little bit quicker than other pitchers. That's definitely shortlisty too. That trade was not without risk, but I had to have at least a medium tier pitching prospect in my system if we were ever going to keep this going. And so trading even a couple of decent prospects I wasn't necessarily going to keep. I'm developing bats at a pretty high level. It's pitchers I can't develop. So that means I have to trade for other people's pitchers. So that's kind of where we are right now. Good job, Chris Barnhart. Way to be, my dude. Good old Kirk Coates changing teams. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what I really want in the draft. I really want a good starting pitching prospect, and I'm not going to get one. But that's what I want. Because just the way this is generating players, it's generating really good players, but they're almost exclusively hitters. Which is fine. That's just what I happen to be good at, but... Alright. So the good news is I see a couple of players with the good old SP next to their names. Let's break them down. Let's start by looking at starters only. So there are 4 70-plus potential starting pitchers, all of whom are high schoolers. Jose Colazzo, Very good stuff, movement and control. I love this. A nice fastball, sinker, curveball. Left-handed, doesn't throw super hard. Alex Ring. An overall more accomplished pitcher. However, there is a bit of an issue here. The issue is he's a sidearmer. He does throw harder. And a sidearm with a cutter, that's criminal. That is borderline illegal. I'm also deeply concerned about his lack of a breaking pitch. His cutter is going to have to do an awful lot of work for him to be a great pitcher. Not saying he's not worth it, but again, let's keep looking. Tim Washington. Fastball, sinker, slider. Best pitch is a slider. Really good mix of tools. Great stamina. I wish he threw a little bit harder. And he is extremely raw. If he hits his ceiling, he'll be worth it. If he doesn't, he won't. Okay. Lastly, Orlando Salgado. Ton of pitches. You know how I feel about that. That's great news. Doesn't have the best stuff, but already throws fairly hard with good movement and control. I don't think there's a bad choice here. I genuinely don't. But this many pitches plus his overall ceiling here means he could be a really special pitcher. There's a tiny part of me that wants Alex Ring, though. Because a cutter with sidearm action and a sinker, even though he doesn't have a true breaking pitch, I think he's got a better chance to be successful than most. But I'm going to take a risk here. I see that bonus demand. I bet he slips to the second round and I can get both of them. So I am going to go ahead and I'm going to pick Salgado. I'm going to try to get Ring too. Or do I want Colazzo? More pitches and throws harder. I'm gonna try Salgado. Oh well, my gambit didn't work out. I was kind of hoping that he would fall, but he didn't. Who did end up getting him, by the way? Who ended up taking Alex Ring? How far did he fall? Bottom of the first round. You know what? I should have expected that. There's so many teams now. I get it. Am I so desperate for a starting pitching count that I'm going to overdraft a starting pitcher? Maybe. First things first, let's go ahead and shortlist Mr. Salgado. Nothing here excites me that much. He's gonna strike people out. He throws fairly hard. And he's fastball, cutter, forkball. I don't think that's a great profile for a starting pitcher. I do love my million pitch types, this is true, but yeah, let's go for Leo Campos too. I feel like I'm overdrafting just to get more pitching talent into the system, but that's kind of what we're here for. Interesting. Why has Xavier Easton fallen? He's a really good hitter without a position. That's not his fault. You know how I feel about my positionless hitters. Let's do it. Oh, he also has a pretty high bonus demand. I don't really care. Sarmiento keeps slipping. He's interesting enough that I will take a flyer on him in the 4th. Marco Torres is wanting like almost no money. I will happily select him. Go below slot. I can live with this. The control is right about the minimum I would take. I know his movement isn't great, but I'm hopeful. He's a big guy. He's going to put some more velocity on, which will kick his stuff up. And that'll help that somewhat mediocre movement succeed a little bit better. I was going to go ahead and quickly check to make sure I'm not missing, like, the best contact hitter of the past 500 years. Yeah. The really good hit... Oh, I'm looking at batting ratings, not batting potential. Derp. Manny Castillo is a really good hitter. Give him to me. Hector Juarez, yes, please. I will take Mr. Israel. And Travis Smith. And I guess Alex Correa is fine. Let's go ahead and sim the rest of the draft. I think I've got what I wanted from it. We went pretty heavy in starting pitchers, but I feel relatively certain that this is going to pay off, that we're going to end up getting a much better team at the end of the day. We got some good value, too. We got a lot of players for basically no money that I think actually could have gotten a decent signing bonus if they asked for one. So I'm pretty happy about that, too. But we need Salgado to be a big-time pitcher for us. We haven't developed our own pitcher in a very, very long time, and Salgado might be the first one. So as soon as he signs, we're gonna lock him down as us controlling his development. Let's shortlist him and Campos, and we'll see how they do. Old Jarrett Teat coming back. What an amazing deal. And no, I'm not going to vote Tyler Spivey just yet. Alright, Salgado. I'm going to lock you up. And you're 18, right? So A-ball makes a ton of sense for you. I'm going to go ahead and let you pitch for my rookie. How have you already lost 10 points? All I did... Oh, no, you were 10 to begin with. Sorry. Sorry. How many people made it from Pittsburgh? I wonder. Ty Sims. Jordan Munoz. Really? Only 2 All-Stars, huh? Fair enough. I mean, I don't know that I have anybody else that's that dominant that I would put on the team, but it is a little disappointing. You could have picked Mike Grasham or Joe. I don't think Mike Schreiber should have made the team. I think Joe should have made it, but I'm not going to complain about it. It's still 2 All-Stars, right? 2 All-Stars is a good number of All-Stars to have. Plus, Jordan Munoz gets to go there for the first ever time, which is pretty exciting. He's already got a ring, and now he's got an All-Star appearance on his record. That's very exciting. All prospect game roster. Sal Becerra is it. And Jeremiah Rhodes. Perfect. Perfection. Why do I want your crappy reliever? Oh, wait a minute. I don't. Which is the opposite of team needs. I like team hates. Like, if you call me up, offer me a 30-plus-year-old reliever, I'm going to tell you to get fucked. So stop calling. Okay? Damn, the Phillies kicked our ass. And Jesus Solano is out again. Really, bro? You couldn't give me any more time than that this season. Unbelievable. I can't call up Rhodes yet. Oh, but I want to, but I can't. I need him to work on his control. I need him to pitch in the high minors and develop himself. I have never given Salrado a chance to start. Mostly because his stamina's crap. I guess he put Carrillo back in the damn rotation. I know I could just trade for a starter, and trust me, I'm definitely considering it, but I think we are better off with Carrillo for now. But I will start looking for a starter here real fast. Who's on the market for starting pitching, I wonder? Damn, the Brewers got quite a haul. That's not great. I'm concerned about the Cardinals. Leo Campos, I'd also like to control your development, please. Alright, friends, we have to do something. This rotation won't do anything in the playoffs. Like, even a little bit. I've got to make a trade for a starting pitcher. It is not an option, it is mandatory. The best possible choice would be Mike Brinkman. He would cost me a king's ransom, but he would be worth it. There's also the fact he's got another, and it's a player option here. What is Brinkman going to cost me? I can get Brinkman fairly inexpensively, which I did not expect, but I am here for. I will give up Dickey. No hesitation here. Yep, do it. I needed a starting pitcher. I got one of the best ones at the trading deadline. I feel pretty good about this. How long is Huamani out? Oh, god damn it. Really? Fine. Um, no, I'm going to trade Andres Carrillo for the best prospect I can get because I've just kept him for too long, and I just don't think us keeping him does anybody any favors. Jalen Jackson is an interesting player. Not interesting enough to get me interested, but interesting. If I need a second baseman, I'd probably think about it. To be perfectly accurate, I don't like the errors. That's a problem. We'll grab Galvez because he can just play a lot of positions fairly well without hitting that badly at any of them. Wonder if it would give me anything else, though. Could I get a second prospect, perhaps? John Gutierrez. Nope, I'm not. I'm just going to make this trade right now. I'm sorry that the fans loved Andres Carrillo. But here's the thing. He just never reached his potential. He was never even close. Other than that magical 2056 season. I'm going to have Jesus Calderon become the 5th starter now, and we're going to let Brinkman be the number 3 starter. Anyone else I want to trade? His price keeps going up as he hits into a career year. His last season with our team. I don't blame him for holding out at this point, but I think whoever signs him is going to regret it. I truly believe that. I hope Juamani's not out for long. I've got shortstops that are almost as good, but I think Juamani is one of the better choices we've got. We'll see what happens, though. Now let's see how long Juamani is out. Damn, that game looks like it was quite the ordeal. Can I get on a bit of a hot streak? That would be lovely at this time of season. No? I can't? Okay. Yeah, guys, we're just like stop scoring, and that's not great. Can we not, please? Like, we should be getting as hot as we possibly can, and instead we're cooling off, which is definitely concerning to me. I'm gonna give Lavender an extension. We'll keep him around a bit longer. All right. So, there's not a whole lot I'm looking at here that would really help us score a bunch more runs, which is really what we need. I mean, batting Pozo lower in the lineup would help. But on the other hand, he's had kind of a nice little career boost. I'm kind of hoping he gets to 3,000 by the end of the season. He could. He really could. But I'm going to call up Spineo. Unless he's hurt, which he is. No, he's not. Where is he? Oh, he's just that bad now. Okay, wow. I definitely want to get him to play a little bit of center field. For the rest of the season, and Freddie Suarez could be quite the shortstop, but I'm not quite ready to call him up yet. Jeremiah Rhodes is steadily improving. I just don't want to rush him at this point. Let's call up Stovall. I'd love to get another power bat off the bench. I think it's going to be really helpful down the stretch. Let's generate some new depth charts here. I don't want Soto playing that much. I think if tired for both of these. And I don't want Servine playing every 3 games. That seems a bit silly to me. The rest of this I'm fine with. Pardon me. That's no, I don't want to Glace. I want to Glace is playing as much as possible. I don't mind him getting a break every now and again, but yeah. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. I want Spineo playing center field once every 5 games. That's what I really want at this point. I just want him to get real game experience in the big leagues for the rest of September. Just so he gets a little taste of the majors, and then we can figure out what happens from there. I really want the division if we can pull it off, guys. I want you to play your hardest. That first round bye is huge. The problem is we keep winning one and losing one. We're not putting together a string. That's what we need. We need a nice string of wins in a row against the teams ahead of us so that we can push ourselves into position. Solano is back. Do I want him back, though? I'm going to put him on a rehab assignment to the minors just long enough so that we can worry about the rest of it. We won 95 games. There's certainly no complaints there. Alright, playoff roster time. I don't want you keeping Spineo. Wait, who is not on this roster? Somebody is missing. Our real team has 12 pitchers. How many pitchers in my playoff roster currently have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So which position player isn't... Oh, Victor Corral isn't on the roster. This whole season I didn't have a utility infielder. I just now realized that. I didn't have a utility infielder all season. So, like, who played second when Almahoyer was hurt? I guess Mike Soto got in some random starts at second base. That's kind of interesting. Oh, Villalobos. That's one of the guys who got kicked off. I appreciate it, but I need another... I can't not have a utility infielder. That's just not going to happen. I can't make Soto play that frequently, and positions he's not very good at. So I'm going to go ahead and take... I'm going to take Spineo off the postseason roster. And put on Villalobos. And then I can slot in Villalobos at all of the backup positions here. So generate depth chart, please. It's the playoffs. Everybody is, if starter tired. Like, I don't want anyone other than my very best players playing every single game. Like, it's not even a question for me. How close did Manny Pozo get to 3,000 hits? He needs 14 hits next season. Hopefully he doesn't opt out. If he does, I'll understand. But I think we're probably going to switch the timeshare and make Pozo the break for Soto, not the other way around. I think that's what we'll probably end up doing. A nice little bounce back year for him, though. Really happy for him. He also broke 400 home runs this season, which is pretty neat. Did I get a fancy email? I did. There we go. Pitching staff. It's a 5-man series. So we're going to go ahead and run a 3-man rotation. No, 4-man. And Calderon is the odd man out. I wonder how the Guardians did today. This is Tuesday, by the way. I haven't actually seen the game yet. Hopefully they did alright. But maybe they didn't. I don't know. Oh, maybe Sims will be ready. Alright. The Reds defeat us in game 1. A crazy second game. That one's had a lot of action in it. Remember, just to save my sanity, if we get to the wildcard series and it's an elimination game, I'm just going to sim it. If we lose it, we lose it. But I don't feel like there's a whole bunch of value in simming a wildcard game. Or playing a wildcard game. Ty Sims let me down. Wow. It wasn't really Sims' fault. He pitched pretty well, but... Bruh. Hey, we were competitive every game of the series. We just weren't quite good enough. Hey, we got beat by the better team. I know, yes, technically we were the better team, but they got hot and we didn't. And that's what happens sometimes. You gave up a 3-run homer in the first bloody inning. What the shit, guys? Yeah, Calderon got lit up. Calderon should never have been in that position. Well, we tried, friends. We tried. We just weren't quite good enough to make it. Imagine how much better we would be, though, if we would have won the division title. As a hitting coach, I would like to keep you, though. Alright. I really want to keep Gene Kelly quite badly. That means he has to get promoted to low A or high A. And the thing is, I don't want to lose Butt or Crayford. No, you know what I'll do? I will promote him to high A. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and fire Crayford because he's so old anyway. I bet there's a good chance he would have retired. That should be good enough to keep him. At least for now. That was kind of an embarrassing wildcard series performance, but I'll be honest with you. We didn't get the pitching when we needed it. But every one of those games was so competitive, though. We played our damnedest, and it just didn't work out. And that's fine. I don't really mind when that happens. What annoys me is when the entire team just gives up. We clearly didn't give up. We just weren't good enough pitching-wise. We might have lost to the eventual World Series winners. Holy shit, Cincinnati. I mean, they didn't have a guy that tied for the league lead in homers. Am I being too obsessed with my park? I wonder. It seems like we never have the big time bopper that has a long career because I always get skittish. But maybe I just need to find one and stick with them. Maybe. You're not fooling me, Andy Musial. I know you're Stan Musial, having gone back in time. Great World Series. Good job, Rangers. Very proud of you. Very proud of you. We had 4 teams come out of the NL Central. That's pretty hilarious. Interesting. Mike Iglesias wants to test free agency. I'll talk to him in a minute. So does Manny Pozo. I'm not giving you a 3-year deal. I'll give you a 1-year deal, but I'm not giving you a 3-year deal. And I do want to keep Mike Tinch. He's still been one of the finest relievers in the league. So I'm going to go ahead and execute that option here. I need a new assistant GM. Alright. I'm going to leave these contract decisions for next episode. I just think it'll make for an interesting opening. But let's look at how the team actually did. And let's get ourselves a new assistant GM, shall we? So we want somebody who is controlling or personable. Ideally personable. Add filter is personable. Let's go for Tony Fortune. Alright, my friends, let us look at the team and how it did, and where we might expect things to go better or worse. Sean Hill keeps turning in Sean Hill type seasons, further increasing his value and giving us a still more difficult decision to make. One of the biggest weaknesses of our team, by the way, is the fact we have a 30 home run hitter hitting leadoff. I want to get him lower in the lineup where these home runs won't all be solo shots. But, like, look at this shit. That's an issue. He's hitting homers with nobody on base. Hopefully we can fix that soon. Jordan Munoz had a very fine season. This is really his first big-time season, and he came through when we needed him the most. Great season from Mr. Munoz. Henry Salgado for 100 games is better than a lot of other players for 162. I am a bit concerned that he missed so much time this season, and he's probably the number one reason why we did fall short this season. Anthony Jones saw his contract year. He made the most of it. Joe continues to be an above-average performer. He really gets it done when we need him. Mike Iglesias had a very fine season, and I certainly can't easily replace a guy like him. But I've got a couple of really good players in the minors that might be ripe for a promotion in their near future. So, Whether we keep Iglesias or not is going to depend on a few other factors. Pozo was fine. Huamani was fine. Not brilliant, but fine. I like Almohuer a lot. I like his skill set. I just need a better average. Mike Soto is going to get a bigger share of playing time next season. I think that is a given. Ernesto Turner had a good season off the bench. And Villalobos was just kind of there. Pitching. Guys, Ty Sims just keeps doing it. Like, no matter how much his velocity slows down, he still pitches at just an incredibly high level. We would not be anywhere where we are today without him. Mike Grasham has not been as good as Ty Sims, but is also way cheaper than Ty Sims, so that's pretty cool. Very happy about that. For a reliever to be this freaking good is, holy shit, is it incredible. This is borderline unfair that he was this good. He'd better win reliever of the year. I'm just saying. Calderon was okay, Tinch was okay, and then we got average to below average. I mean, we got useful seasons from other people. I'm not that annoyed by it. Mr. Mike Brinkman, once he hit the Pirates, really started struggling. He started giving up home runs like they were going out of style, which is definitely a problem. But it's not so big a problem that I'm not glad we have him for one more season. Jesus Solano basically didn't pitch this season. I had no idea Joe Camp was this good this season. Like, he was truly incredible, and he's just confirmed in my head that we made the right decision. That Joe Camp 100% deserves to be the big-time reliever on this team. Without any doubt. So, next episode, we're going to talk about the biggest decisions, which are going to be what to do with Mike Iglesias, and what to do with Sean Hill, and some of the other players that we have. I am really intrigued to see what you folks come up with in terms of discussion about what to do with Mike Iglesias. Maybe more than any other player, he's the most controversial in terms of, do you want to spend a bunch of money for a designated hitter? And the thing is, he's been a really good designated hitter, right? He's been phenomenal. He hits 30 home runs pretty frequently, good number of walks, and hits for a decent average. He's what you're looking for. He's also 34. He's also 34. Or will be 34 early next season. That could be an issue, right? That could be problematic, deeply problematic. Especially when I have a bunch of young players who probably need regular at-bats to truly unlock their full potential. And I don't have that right now. I don't have a way to give them those at-bats, so. We will think long and hard about that in the off-season. And of course, I welcome your contributions as well, my dear viewers. I'll be honest, as much as I like Huamani, Freddy Suarez might be even better. So I think Freddy Suarez has a better than average chance to get some significant spring training time and see what he can accomplish. Give me the minor leagues. I'm going to let Salgado replace or repeat his season there. Same as Sarmiento. Leo Campos got roughed up. So these guys are going to need some time in Rookie League to figure out their shit. I have no problem with that. I hear all players. I'm not all players, but sure. Oh, real quick before the season ends, I don't want to lose anybody from the Rule 5 that I need to keep. So I'm going to go ahead and add Navio, Aguinaga for sure. Let's add you both to the 40, man. We have a really, really young lineup. Like, other than Pozo, no starter was over 30. Well, and Anthony Jones. Anthony Jones is exactly 31. And then I guess, okay, fine, Mike Iglesias too. But still, we're a very young lineup. Very, very young. Which is good. Which is good. I think rotation has to be one of our top priorities. Somebody to get Jose Brown out of the rotation every day would be good. Because, I mean, we already brought him back for a pretty low price. I think making him into... Well, he gives 193 innings. I'm not that eager to get rid of him, but I do think we're going to be limited in the playoffs by who we can put in the rotation. So if we can get an upgrade there, that might be worthwhile. But yeah. That is going to conclude today's episode. I hope you have enjoyed. If you have, please remember to like the video. Comments are always appreciated. Let me know what you think about Mike Iglesias. Is it worth keeping him around? Or do we let one of the kids get some more playing time? Like, say, Esteban Stoval, who seems very Mike Iglesias-esque and would be quite a bit cheaper. Anyways, let me know your thoughts. And until next time, this has been F Guardian. Thank you for watching, and I bid you good day.